We're now listening to the Beyond Elevated podcast, and we've been gone for a while, but we just wanted to do a nice playoff preview for you. That's right, for all the Beyond Elevated fans out there, also for people from all over the country. We've even had a couple people tell us that they're in Australia listening. Thank you guys so much. We appreciate everything. We hope you guys had a wonderful holiday season. But now we are back to talking some football. Hey, wanted to make sure that you guys knew everybody on the panel. You're used to seeing them. You know, my brother from another mother needs no introduction. P. Diddy P. Jones, Percy Lee Jones, Percy Lee Jones the third. Percy Jones, what up, homie?
What's going on, man? We're back. This is going to be a great episode. I cannot wait till this weekend happens. I'll get into it when we get into it. But one of the teams I've been screaming all year long has made the playoffs.
Are you talking about the Tennessee Titans?
The Jacksonville Jaguars.
Oh, were you talking about the Oakland Raiders? I mean, not Oakland, Las Vegas Raiders. Because you've been talking about them a lot.
Oh, my.
No, you're not talking about them? Okay.
No, I don't want to talk about them.
All right. The next person who needs no introduction, sitting right underneath him, if you're watching, if you're listening, thank you. Listen in the car, you can get a good laugh, from Texas Tech, living right now in Dallas, Texas, needs no introduction, Mr. Ryan Lillis. Ryan, what up, homie?
How's it going, fellas? It's good to be back. It's my least favorite time of the year. Football playoffs, college football's wound down. It's sad, but it's also exciting for the NFL playoffs as well. But it's going to be rough after this is all concluded.
Well, yes, we have a lot to get into and we want to break it down, but we have one more guest that I got to introduce. He is actually my cousin, who is a self-proclaimed football guru. No, I'm joking. He taught me a bunch about the NFL growing up. I still remember when I was 8-9 years old playing the first 1992 Madden on the Sega Genesis. Actually, it wasn't even the Sega Genesis. He had the Sega, I think the Master Sega. And then he got the Genesis. So, my brother from another mother, my cousin, blood cousin, Mr. Corey Wilson. Corey, what up?
Yes, what's up, man? I'm excited. I'm excited about what's going to happen in the future, because a lot of these teams in the NFL, depending on what happens in the playoffs, could look very different next year. So I'm excited about that. I want to get going.
Absolutely. And something came across my feed last night that I'll just dive into really quick, because one of the things that happened just here recently is people know that obviously Deion Sanders went to Colorado and now he's going to be the coach of Colorado. So I've been really paying attention to the Pac-12.
Yes.
And yesterday it just came across my feed, just like, first off, David Shaw is becoming one of the top candidates for the Denver Broncos job. And I had no idea that David Shaw even resigned from the Stanford Cardinals job. He did such a really good job while he was there. He resigned at the last game in November, but he's the front runner right now for the Denver Broncos job. Ryan, I mean, can it get any worse than Russell Wilson and the Broncos right now, which is probably going to go down as one of the worst trades of all time? It probably will be the worst trade of all time next to the Herschel Walker trade if he continues playing like he is. Corey, we'll let you get into it in a second. Ryan, do you think this is a good move for Denver?
I don't. The reason I'm going to say this is when you've got things that went the way they did this season in Denver, I don't think you hire somebody who's been coaching in college. And it's coming the same week where my beloved Cliff Kingsbury was canned as well. Another college coach who struggled to make the transition, kind of like Nick Saban did as well.
Urban
Meyer. It's a different beast, and it's a different thing. I don't think it's a good hire, especially with the track record. I know David Shaw did some great things at Stanford. There's nothing to take away from them. During his tenure there, he led them to a lot of victories in Rose Bowls and stuff like that. But these last 5 to 6 seasons for them have been a real struggle in and not the best conference in college football in the Pac-12. I don't think they're a premier conference, even with USC and UCLA. But I don't think it's a good hire, especially for Russell Wilson, which is probably the most expensive mistake that's been made to date in the NFL. I just don't see. I don't see it. I don't see it working out. I don't think that's the direction they needed to go.
I hear you definitely, Ryan. And when you say the most expensive mistake in the NFL, Deshaun Watson still has some time now. Corey, what do you think about David Shaw being the front runner?
I agree with Ryan. I believe it's a big mistake, him coming from the college ranks, going not just to the pros, but to that particular team. Now, if he went somewhere else where the culture was maybe a bit better and the pieces were a little bit better, I may think differently. However, I think they need a veteran head coach that's been in the NFL to come coach that team. Where's Shanahan at? I'm talking the senior. I mean, John Elway still making those decisions?
No, John Elway's in the front office, but he's been taken away from the football decisions.
Okay. They need to do something. However, I want to pump my brakes on it being the worst trade ever. We have to give him. Let's give him another year. Let's give him a little more to work with. Who knows? Maybe Nathaniel Hackett was trash. Who knows? I think we just need to give him another year. Because it was a bad year for Russell Wilson and the Denver Broncos. I thought they had a better team than what they put on the field. So I just want to give them just one more year, and hopefully they don't hire him, and they get a veteran in there. So because I'm rooting for Russell Wilson, but it looked bad. It looked very bad. So but I just want to pump my brakes and just give him another chance because we know what this guy can do. So
100% agree with you, Corey. Percy, what do you think?
So I'm gonna have a different approach. I'm going to say this. I totally agree when Ryan and Mr. Wilson said about coming from college ranks going to the NFL. The track record is not a high track record, but I will say this: any chance for us of color to get a head coaching job in the NFL, I'm all for it.
And when you mean of color, are you referring to Ryan?
Yes.
Stop. I'm joking.
I know.
For you guys who are listening and you can't see, obviously you can't see color because you can't see, but Ryan is Caucasian and me, Percy, and Corey are African American. Keep going, Percy.
So numbers wise and track record, I totally agree with you two guys. It doesn't happen. You don't see wins come from it. Unfortunately, to see us in the head coaching spot, I'm all for it. So I'm kind of like this with it. And Russell Wilson, I don't know, man. I mean, I was trying to go to bat for him, but he played terrible this year, man. I don't even know. It's not like he's a rookie and you're putting him in his system and he's getting acquainted. He's been doing this. Like, he has a Super Bowl. So I don't know, man. I know I won't be drafting him on any fantasy teams coming up.
Well, chemistry is a big thing, man. I believe in chemistry between wide receivers and quarterbacks and offensive linemen and quarterbacks and coach and quarterback. And for some reason, it just seems like there was such a disconnect somewhere on that whole team. And that's why I want to give him one more chance before I throw him completely under the bus.
Mm-hmm. Well, speaking of disconnections and new coaches that having disconnections with their quarterbacks, let's just stay right here in the AFC West and talk about the Las Vegas Raiders, basically kind of just giving up on Derek Carr. And Percy, I'm going to come to you first here because this is your team. I think they did Derek Carr kind of dirty. The reason why is because he's been there. He's been the solid foundation for them through all the madness, from changing owners to the owner dying to changing cities twice, to all the madness that has been happening with all the players threatening to kill people, having guns, actually killing people with their cars while drunk driving, having your football team go to Vegas to live and play football every day is not necessarily a good place to be when you have millions and millions of dollars at your disposal in young people. So, Percy, first question that I have for you is that it's kind of, what do you feel about how they did Derek Carr? And not saying that he had to play next year and they had to keep him on the team, but did they really just have to bench him for the next 3 games? I mean, he really, like, you know, it's not like you guys are going to go with Peterman next year. Like, what's up with this?
When that happened, man, I was just as shocked as everybody else. That told me right there that he was out of there. I mean, he did give us 9 years, 8-9 years. He did go through everything that you said. When it comes to, you know, when it comes to loyalty, it's like, damn. But at the same time, it's a business. 9 years, and like, what are, you know, what more can we get from you? Like, coming from someone that's very, very loyal, it sucks because it's like, you know, we bring my best friend, the wide receiver, in, we bring him into the organization, you know, we go through, and then now I'm out of here, and you know, Jacobs, the leading rusher this year, he might be leaving. He might be leaving us. So it's like, where do we go from here?
Listen, I'm all for, you know, them moving on. My question really becomes is kind of like, he can't play the last 2 games. It's not like you're testing Nathan Peterman to see if he's going to be a starter next year. You're not starting Nathan Peterman in meaningful football games. So my question is that you really had to do him like that? Could you? I mean, because he wasn't playing horrible. I mean, they weren't playing great, but he wasn't playing horrible. Why not let him play the last 2 games and then see what you can get on the trade market from him? Ryan?
I don't know. I think it was very bizarre to me, and you know, I'm not gonna dog the organization, but this organization has gone through a lot of stuff the last 2 seasons. So ever since they moved to Vegas, it's been about the most Vegas 2-year span that you've ever seen. Like you said,
you mean when Gruden was saying a bunch of crazy stuff online?
I mean, it's
about
just
crazy people, and then then he's like, "Wait a minute, everybody else was saying anything. Why didn't you leak theirs?" I was like, "Oh well, we're just going to leak yours." Go ahead.
It's just you know, it was the, you know, Gruden situation. Then you had you know, the very Ruggs situation was very sad, just a very sad mistake, and you had even more things, you know, on top of that. And then you've got Derek Carr, the quarterback situation. Then you had the expectations, you know, of this season, and it's not gone the way it's gone. But the first thing I'm going to point out when it comes to on the field issues is sometimes in this league, I don't understand some of these hires that people make. Some people in the league, are meant to be coordinators. And Josh McDaniels is one of those people. I'm sorry. And if I was a Raiders fan, I wouldn't have liked the hire to begin with, because he's been hired before and had the same exact results. But you make the hire and you enter the realm of insanity, which is trying to hire the same person and getting different results. It never works. You know, there are great minds in this league on offense and defense that are great coordinators, and that's what they need to be, and that's what they excel at. Not everybody's a head coach in this league, and I think people really need to get over that fact. And we've seen this happen multiple times, you know, over the years. So it's been a rough go for Vegas, and I think they really need something right to go on in that organization. But I don't think the way they handled it is something that, you know, with Derek Carr, is something that you could say that was handled right. It's been fumbled, just like most of the transition into Vegas has been, and it's been rough. And I haven't understood it, but they've got good players. They just need to they need more pieces, and they need to figure out what they're doing, in my opinion.
I think they're hitting the reset button, Corey.
I agree.
Man, I'm going to approach it at a little different angle, because I'm going to back this Mack truck all over Derek Carr because I think he should, instead of a mouthpiece, he should have played with the binky and the bib on. He's the biggest crybaby in the league. Now, hold on. I was a little misled by his statistics because my brother's a Raiders fan and we talk every weekend about this. So I was a little led like, oh man, looking at his statistics. But after I started really looking at some Raiders games and seeing his inability to push the ball downfield, and his stats comes from dinking and dunking and dinking and dunking. And man, I just think that Josh McDaniels, granted, I know when he was hired in Denver, he did some silly things, drafting Tebow, one of them. And
he got rid of Cutler. He pushed out Cutler for Tebow.
Thanks to him, he put Jay Cutler in our organization, which, being a Bears fan, we're used to dysfunctional organizations and your football team making the bad moves. But I think the Raiders have had better teams than we've had in Chicago. And I think Derek, he's been in the league 9 years, right? Correct?
Yeah.
So he hasn't been to the playoff. What has he been to the playoffs before? Once or twice?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
First round exit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Last time they went, was he the quarterback or did he get hurt? Was someone else playing? Right, Percy.
We won last year. We won last year.
Y'all lost the first round, right?
Hell yeah.
We won last year.
The Bengals.
Oh, God.
I just think it's a lot of excuses for Derek Carr, and just because he's a nice guy and he's the prototypical type quarterback, as far as he says the right things in the interviews, but I just think he didn't perform because when they threw Stidham in there, I think he pushed the ball downfield a little better. I'm not comparing him to Derek Carr, don't get me wrong, but I'm just saying for what Derek Carr has had, he's had some weapons.
Yeah.
I just think he's underperformed, and I just think, it's time for him to move, and he needs a different scenery, and it's his fault. I don't want to blame it on Josh McDaniels or anything. I'm putting it all on Derek Carr. I think he's a whiner, and I think he's the most overrated quarterback in the NFL.
Whoa. Okay. That's a good, you know what, Corey? This is great. I'm glad you're on the show. Let's do a poll real fast. Ryan, Percy, get your answers ready. Corey thinks that Derek Carr is the most overrated quarterback in the NFL. I think
he is.
No. I'm going to tell you who I think it is.
Oh boy. I think I know where he's going with this.
Oh, I hate saying this. I just hate saying this. But I have no choice. I just have to. Lamar Jackson. Percy, who do you think is that? He gets put in these top 5 lists, and I don't think he is a top 5 quarterback in the league. Just my personal opinion. I don't think he's Josh Allen. I don't think that he is Patrick Mahomes. I don't think that he.
Isn't he young?
No.
How many years has Lamar Jackson been in the league? 4 or 5?
5 now?
5.
He's past the young. He's past the young.
5 years is young, bro. 5 years is young.
He's about to
get his first year he got put in at the very end, right?
Yeah. And they lost.
Mm-hmm. So we had this conversation a couple podcasts ago earlier in the season about this top quarterback list and Lamar Jackson and all. I agree. He gets injured so often that I don't think he could ever be in that top 5, top 10 category because he's always hurt.
Top 10?
Top 10 maybe.
Top 10.
I don't know because we're adding in he can run. Yes, we're adding that in. That is very valuable. But is he ever going to drop 4,500 yards passing in the season? I don't foresee that ever happening.
You're right. And you know what else?
Have they given him receivers? I know he has a good tight end, but has he had 2 guys on?
They flipped a bunch of different weapons in and out. They don't even have they don't really even focus on the pass. That's the thing is that I just don't see him being a top 5 quarterback. It's not because of you could say it's not his fault or it is just the coaching's fault or whatever. I don't think that he is that good of a thrower. And when we start looking at it and you're like, you have some killers out there now from like Herbert and Burrow. And I mean, you just have some really, really, really strong quarterbacks out there that are young. I just don't see him in that top echelon of the top 5, top 6 quarterbacks in the league. I just don't know. I think he's the most overrated. Percy, who do you think is the most overrated? Unless you're agreeing with me.
Well, I mean, as I'm looking through the NFL quarterbacks list right now, you coming off this list, man, he probably is the most.
No.
Because I don't.
Other than Derek Carr?
Oh, well, don't. Because you know where I wanted to go next, Ryan. I wanted to go Dak. I wanted to go Dak, but just because of my Eagles love.
These numbers I'm looking at, I mean, and I don't want to say because he doesn't have any real weapons around him, but and Corey, I'm sorry you're here and they're your team and they went to Rob's college, but do we think Justin Fields is going to ever be anything in the NFL? Honestly,
of course.
I don't think he's gonna be. I don't think he's
from the outside in. From the outside in, I could see you guys saying that, but a person who watches every snap, you don't really understand how this team was garbage. I mean, this is the worst. They have the.
All right, no. We're not going to go down the Chicago Bears thing. We'll get to the Chicago Bears thing. Damn, like
the Houston Texans have more talent on their team than the Chicago Bears have all around. They have more pieces around their team than we do.
Okay. We're moving on. Ryan, you get to pick your most overrated quarterback, and then we're getting to the games.
Dak Prescott, hands down.
I could go.
And you're a Cowboy fan. Wow.
Oh yeah, when you lead the league in interceptions and you played 5 weeks less than everybody else on the damn list, I'm sorry.
Oh man, Ryan,
I got nothing else to say, and all the Dallas people. I live here. You can all yell at me all you want. I'm a fan, but it ain't happening. Sorry.
So you're one of the. So you're saying put Coop in the playoff game?
As soon as I saw on Sunday or this past week when he threw the same pass twice in a row and it could have been a pick six both times and it was the second time, I can't watch any more of this. I've seen what I need to see.
What did he go Sunday? 13 for 37 or something like that?
He went 13 for it doesn't matter. They lost the football game.
to the Commanders. All right, anyway.
Correct.
Moving on, we're going to dive into these games. That was a good intro, guys. Everybody, I had so much more that I wanted to talk about and get to, but we just don't have the time. I want to get into the games. We're going to start with my man, Percy Jones. It's wild card weekend, and the games start on Saturday. We're going to go right in order, starting with the Seattle Seahawks getting lucky and getting into the playoffs by Green Bay completely collapsing on Sunday night. I'm done with Aaron Rodgers. I'm done. Like, retire, bro, or go somewhere else. I'm done. Like, it's too much drama. You got your Seattle Seahawks and playing the San Francisco 49ers, San Francisco being favored by 9.5 points. Percy, who do you think is going to win, and do you think they're going to cover the spread?
Hey, Ryan, remember I was talking about Seattle Seahawks for a while? Anyway, I think Seattle is going to win the game without the points. That's the way I'm going. I will send. I place my wager. I place my wager on FanDuel.
Send the screenshot. Send the screenshot.
I'm about to send the screenshot right now.
How much?
Send the screenshot.
Okay. All right.
So I got them at plus 10. So I'm taking all the 10 points, even though the line shifted. But I think it's hard to beat a team 3 times in the same season. And yes, I looked. The first time they played, they got beat pretty bad, like 27-6. Then they played again, they lost by like 9. Now, don't get me wrong. It's going to be the third different quarterback that the 49ers are using in the game. But I don't, even though San Fran defense is playing lights out, I don't think they win 3 times in the same season. I'm going with Seattle. Give me the 10 points, 9.5, whatever it is. And I'm going with the upset. Stamp it.
Ryan, 9.5 point spread. Who do you got to win the game, and who do you think is going to win versus the spread?
So after, previously on this podcast, I have the San Francisco 49ers winning the NFC. And I know you guys were back about 5 weeks ago. You thought I was insane. But I don't really think I am. I think defense travels in this league. I really do. And Kyle Shanahan has a system where it doesn't matter who the quarterback is. It doesn't matter. You've got a running back in Christian McCaffrey who scored 10 or 11 touchdowns, since he's been in San Francisco. He has been the guy that we all thought he was, and he has stayed healthy. And I didn't give him as much credit. I doubted McCaffrey. I thought he was kind of, when you switch a team, as a running back, it's going to be difficult to be a star. And he has excelled. And I think San Francisco wins the game. But I like the direction Seattle's going. I love Kenneth Walker. I love Geno Smith's game. I think Geno's only going to get better, but I think San Francisco wins in a tight one. Very, very, very close game.
So you're picking Seattle against the spread.
I am.
But San Francisco to win the game. Okay,
wins
perfect.
The game.
I want both picks.
Okay.
Corey.
I agree. I agree with both of you guys in a sense, because we were saying this the other day, man. I just think that Seattle is going to play them very tough, and I was leaning towards an upset at first, but now I just think San Francisco will edge them out, and I think they'll win by 2 or 3 points, probably a last-second field goal. Mm-hmm. I like what Geno Smith has done in Seattle as well. I just hope they give him another shot next year, because that's sort of in the balance as well, especially if he doesn't have a good performance. But I agree. I'll take Seattle with the points if we're betting, but I think San Francisco will sort of squeak by that game.
I am going to take San Francisco to win the game, and I'm going to take San Francisco with the points. Last 10 games, Seattle's lost 7 of their last 10. Yeah, Geno was a great story at the beginning of the year. He was leading the league in completion percentage. He was doing such a great job. Came back down to earth a little bit. Their running game hasn't been as good as it was. Their offense is ranked 22nd in the league. Their defense is ranked 19th in the league. San Francisco's defense is ranked 3rd in the league, and their offense is ranked 8th in the league, kind of hitting on Ryan's point of, Kyle Shanahan can run an offense where it really doesn't matter who the quarterback is. Purdy is 6-0 as a starter. It is San Francisco at home. The history of San Francisco at home in playoffs games is pretty good. I just don't see Seattle, even though it's a division game. I don't see Seattle rising to this challenge. I think San Francisco is going to run all over them, and I think that they are going to stop them on defense. I do not see Seattle scoring more than 14 points in this game. So I got San Francisco in both. Let's move to game number 2. And this is Saturday night, 8 o'clock, 8:15 p.m. And that is the Los Angeles Chargers versus the Jacksonville surprised Jaguars. The Los Angeles Chargers are favored by 2.5. That means that the Jacksonville Jaguars are a home underdog. Percy, who do you have to win the game? And then who do you have to cover the spread?
Jacksonville both ways.
Double upsets. You're going upsets. Okay, all right. Pick an underdog.
I called it. I've been saying it all year on the podcast. If you want to, guys listening, want to go back, I've been saying Jacksonville. Trevor has been playing phenomenal football since their bye week. Christian Kirk is out there playing. They got Travis is not fumbling the ball anymore. He's actually. Go ahead.
Percy, I wanted to say something really quick because me and Corey were in an argument the other day because Corey was telling me how many weapons that Jacksonville has. Did you know that Christian Kirk was a top 15 receiver in yards this year in the league?
I did not know until about 2 weeks ago, honestly.
Okay, yeah. I mean, so no, keep going. I mean, yeah.
It's a home game. The fans are going to be out there. They're going to be in the stadium thick. And I think this is going to be what Jacksonville needs. I'm not saying they're going to go deep in the playoffs, but I think they're going to. The Chargers coming from the West over. I'm going with Trevor and the guys, and this is it. They get this win.
Ryan?
This one's a real tough one for me. But I don't know, man. Jacksonville, I like their game. I like where they're headed. I like Trevor Lawrence. I think it's safe to say Trevor Lawrence is the quarterback there, I would say. Guys really made a lot of steps from last year, especially with no Urban Meyer. That's, a whole nother conversation. But I'm gonna go with the Chargers actually here. I just think Justin Herbert. I think he's a real deal. I think Trevor Lawrence is a few steps maybe.
Corey, what do you? Which one do you think, Corey?
Now, this is going to be a very close game. I think this is going to be one of the most competitive games of the week, I believe. And I know that Herbert is the real deal. However, I just think Doug Peterson, as a coach, and his scheming and his play development, and the way he has Trevor Lawrence getting rid of that ball very quickly. Not to mention ETN, he had over 1,000 yards rushing. He really stepped up this year as well, and they use him good out of the backfield. I just think that's going to be the deciding factor, which pushes them over the top against the Los Angeles Chargers. Also, the Chargers, Mike Williams came up lame again last week. He got hurt. Joey Bosa got hurt and messed his groin up last week and had to leave the game. And it's just those nicks and those injuries and being that minor that they are, I just think that's going to play a factor as well. Will Bosa play a whole game for once in his life? Probably not. Will Khalil Mack? I think he had 8 sacks this year, but it's misleading. I believe he had 4 in one game. So I'll be disappointed if I was the Chargers as far as what they got in Khalil Mack. I expected more from him, and I just think that Doug Peterson and the home field advantage will be what takes the Jags over the edge this week.
So, Ryan, I think you kind of came out at the end. Who did you have? Corey, I want to make sure I'm on the same page. You're taking the Jags to win and versus the spread too? Okay, cool.
Yes.
And then, Ryan, who do you have spread and the win? And then, Percy, I know you wanted to say something about the quarterback situation. Go ahead.
Yeah, so my question is this. If Justin Herbert goes out here and loses round one, everyone puts Herbert on this top 5, top 7 quarterback in the NFL. Mike Williams is playing lights out. Keenan Allen is playing lights out. Austin Eckler is playing phenomenal football. If they go to Jacksonville and lose, what's the deal with Justin Herbert, guys?
So, I'm going to give my pick too. So here's what I feel about Justin Herbert. He's in my top 7. I would take him before Lamar Jackson. He's calm, he's poised, he's young, he's big. I like bigger quarterbacks. He can scramble, he can throw on the run. He can do a lot. And I think that he's not really he's getting his due, but there is so much pressure, I wanted to say, about the Chargers, because every year they're like the people's like hot pick. Keep in mind, this is only his second year, like third year. And every year they're like, ooh, watch out for the Chargers. He's every single game, I'll give you guys a statistic this year, every single home game that the Chargers have had this year, their home fans have been outnumbered by the away team fans. Okay? That's how little and minuscule the Los Angeles Chargers are when it comes to playing and even in their home stadium. So every game is away for him. And then also on top of that, let's say from week 12 to week 18 is that 9 games. He was 7-2. So when you talk about closing out the year, playing really well, making sure that you're getting ready for the playoffs, yeah, it sucks that they have to travel all the way east to go play Jacksonville, but I just think this is a big moment for Trevor. It's his second year in the league. I don't think he's necessarily ready to rise to this occasion. We've seen Herbert duel it out with Josh Allen. We've seen him duel it out with Patrick Mahomes. We've seen him duel it out with the best of them and win and come out victorious. I just don't. I don't see them winning this game. So I have the Los Angeles Chargers to win the game, and I have the Los Angeles Chargers to cover the spread. Ryan, can you say
I'm gonna definitely go to the Chargers to win the game. I just think the more experienced quarterback usually prevails in the playoffs. But I also think that I think the Jags are gonna. I got them. If I was a betting man, I'd take the Jags.
I think one thing that you did point out, Ryan, which I completely agree with, it's starting to come to fruition about we call him obviously Sunshine, but it's starting to prove that he was the best quarterback out of that class. And I know Corey's going to start saying, well, it's Fields. Okay, great. That story can be told over the next 5 years. But right now, if we were going to take a snapshot and we were going to say, okay, who's the better quarterback? Who's the best quarterback out of that class? With no questions asked, 10 out of 10 times is Trevor Lawrence as the best quarterback, as the best quarterback out of that class right now. Now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now, you get Fields some more weapons. It could be a battle, potentially, maybe. But right now, Trevor Lawrence is the best quarterback out of that class.
Can I say something?
Yeah, absolutely.
So take Trevor Lawrence and put him on the Bears team. What do you think you would have had? With him, he doesn't have a half of a second before they're on his – I can't curse. He has a half.
You can say ass. We just can't say, I think,
half of a second before they're on his ass. Mm-hmm. Your receivers – can't catch the ball. You're playing with JV high school receivers. So if Justin Fields went with Doug Peterson, you see how Trevor Lawrence looked when he had Urban Meyer and all those coaches.
Are you comparing Urban Meyer?
No, I'm saying coaching matters. And if you put Justin Fields in that position with the Jags, when you have Doug Peterson, the quarterback guru-ish guy, with his play calling and give him some weapons and a line that can block halfway decent, it would be a different story. If you put Trevor Lawrence with the Bears, he wouldn't do near as good as Justin Fields. Have you seen the beating that Justin Fields has taken over the last couple of years? Have you seen that?
Yeah, have you
seen that? No,
it's
put Trevor Lawrence on the Bears.
It's only been 2 years. And just so you know, if you said put Justin Fields on the Jacksonville Jaguars, week 13, Jacksonville, win. Week 14, win. Week 15, win. Week 16, win. Week 17, win. Week 18, win. They had to win 6 straight games to get into the playoffs. No, I do not think that if you put Justin Fields, every single one of those games he threw over 300 yards. I do not think that if you put Justin Fields on that team right now with Doug Peterson, that I could guarantee that. Now, am I saying that we need to take time to wait to see? I'm going to give Justin Fields the benefit of the doubt and get time to see. It's definitely not Zach Wilson. It's definitely not Mac Jones.
No.
And I think what's his name needs some time too, but Trey Lance, right?
Mm-hmm.
But for me,
what if he was with the Bears? You haven't said that part of it. What do you think Trevor Lawrence would do on the Chicago Bears?
I think he would have a very, very bad time, but I also think that he would probably win more than 3 games. I think he might be hurt.
No, he would be hurt. He would be out for the year, probably.
Oh, okay. Well, hey, unlike Justin Fields, Trevor Lawrence hasn't missed a game. So we're going to move on. We'll come back to that. I understand. You want to talk the Bears? Listen, I want to talk the Eagles, but they're not playing this week because we have the best record in the league. Okay. And you guys aren't playing this week because you have the worst record.
Here we go.
So we will talk. We're
talking quarterbacks. I'm talking quarterbacks out of that class. It's not about the Bears. I'm just saying we're talking quarterbacks out of that class.
I understand, but if you really wanted to have a legitimate conversation, and me and you were working together on an NFL franchise, and they said you can pick right now, redraft that class, there is no way
Trevor
would have
Lawrence
the
will always
balls.
go first. He had
Right.
he was more acclimated in college and everything.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
he only
And
went
he's-
34-2.
and he's taking and
Not
he's
bad.
taking.
I mean, but it's not like
Justin Fields only lost like I think 1 or 2 games as a starter now.
I
Like,
mean,
he
I know
does-
when they play head to head, Justin Fields smashed Trevor Lawrence in them in the college playoffs. I know that.
this is true, and
So,
also,
I mean, put
and
him
also-
with the Bears. He's toast.
and also I agree with you, but this isn't Bears
I know. I'm just
football
saying.
talk. But
we're
I agree
saying
with you. We will give Justin Fields more time. But right now, I'm going to say it's Trevor Lawrence. You say it's Justin Fields.
I'll say Trevor. I mean, I'd say Trevor Lawrence. I can't say Justin Fields because Trevor Lawrence has been more successful and he's winning. And he has a winning team and they're in the playoffs. So it's no way I can really say Justin Fields when they won 3 games.
It is a big legacy game for both of them, though. I will say that. It's interesting because it's like we in football, if you just want to talk historical, like this is the first like 2 or 3 years that we haven't had the Breeze, the Roethlisberger, the Stafford, the Matt Ryan, the normal names in that like same group that came up together, like the Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, like that group. And now we're starting to see the next group, the Herbert, the Trevor Lawrence, the Justin Fields, the Lamar Jackson, the Patrick Mahomes, the Josh Allen. We're seeing that next group rise up, and this is a playoff game for both of them. And they're gonna get to duel it out, and it's kind of nice to see like these things matter when you look back 7-8 years from now. These things matter. So I am interested to see who pulls this out. This is a big one. So this is a very interesting game. I'm really actually excited to see this on Saturday night. I think the NFL did a good job scheduling this one. So let's go to Sunday, and this is the really worst game of the worst game of the week. And I'm going to talk about 2 things here. We're going to start with you, Percy. Number 1, Buffalo versus the Dolphins. Buffalo, obviously, at home. Second best record in the AFC. Dolphins 9-8. They limped into this one, into the playoffs, losing 6 of their last 7 games. The spread is 13 in favor of the Buffalo Bills, and it has been announced that as of right now, Tua is not going to play. My first question for you is who you got with the spread and the points, and my second question is should they let Tua? Percy.
Buffalo wins the game. Buffalo covers the spread. That is a big spread. Buffalo covers, I believe, but Tua don't play. Don't play. If you care about your career and want longevity in the league, sit this one out, bro.
He's had 3 concussions this year, and by the way, I'm wrong. I'm sorry. He's been ruled out.
Yeah, so I think that's a great call in his future. It sucks because we all had high hopes in seeing that team make it in the playoffs and what they would do, but nah. And I believe they're not even playing Teddy Bridgewater, I believe. So I don't think he's
Skylar Thompson.
They're going with their 3rd string quarterback, who I mean we saw play last week against Buffalo. In Buffalo, they have no shot in winning this game.
So you got the spread. You got him with the spread too.
I got him with the spread, even though I don't like those high spreads, but I got him with the spread. But on FanDuel, on that ticket I sent you guys, I got the Bills money line.
Wait, you took the Bills money line? What you bet, $10?
I got it on I got it on a parlay.
Oh, okay, my bad.
Yeah, because the odds are but I got the Bills.
That's you don't want to bet $10 and lose 560. Corey, I'm sorry, Ryan. Fire away.
Definitely going to go with the Bills here. No Tua. Don't think he needs to play. Obviously, I agree with that. And just, as a trainer, I grew up. My father was a trainer at Texas Tech, Corey, and had a chance to go in the NFL, but there was no money in it. And they don't need to let him play. And that's my father said the same thing. He doesn't need to play, especially at the rate of concussions that he's getting per game that he's actually playing. It's a lot worse than just looking at it from a aerial view of the entire season. You got to think about a man's safety before his, before what he does for a profession. here. Let's just get that out of the way. But with Skylar Thompson being the quarterback, yes, he's went to K-State. Big 12 country over here, but he doesn't have enough to beat this Bills team. There's no way.
Do we need to preview this thing?
No,
do we need to preview this game?
So. Okay. I don't think so.
Okay. All right, Corey, you got Buffalo and Buffalo. I got
Buffalo and Buffalo.
Okay,
yeah.
Corey,
I believe it'll be a clean sweep. I believe Buffalo will win this by the spread as well. I'm surprised it's only 13.
Yeah, we're all going both and both.
One thing I do want to say about Tua is now, is he getting those concussions because he's holding on to the ball too long, or his line is not performing?
It's definitely because he's holding on to the ball too long, and that was one of his problems when he was in Alabama. But I have a better question for you guys, and I'm going to ask you guys around the round table real quick. I just want yes or no, and then we'll let Corey give some analysis on it. Miami is a top 10 pick this year. I think it's like 8.
Mm-hmm.
Percy, are they quarterback looking?
They have to. Yes, they have to. Yes.
Yeah, they have no choice. Unfortunately, it's out of their hands with someone's health. But yeah, you have to. It's essential.
Ryan and me were in an argument one day about stats, Corey, and Ryan brought up something so funny, and I remember it yesterday. I was like, look at his yards, and he was like, look at his games played. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, like that's a big statistic. Like, are you on the field? Right, Corey, what do you think?
Now, I believe they have to, but I don't. The question is, will they be aggressive to go up and get a good quarterback? Or will they sit and try to see what lands in their lap while the top 2 or 3 guys may be gone at that time? The top 3 guys, right? So
where did Waddle go to college?
Alabama.
Oh, just seeing. And Burrow and Chase went to where?
LS
who?
Did that work out?
Will the Miami Dolphins do the right thing? Or will they hold on to Tua? I mean, that remains to be seen. I don't know how this
it's going to be to his. What is it? It's his 4th year next year, right? Yeah, he was in Herbert's class. Oh God, wait, was he? He was drafted. Was he 5th and Herbert was 6th? Oh, you want to talk about?
It seems that they like that guy, man. It seems that they like that guy, and they should definitely look for a new quarterback. But will they? And
no, but
not only will they get a top tier quarterback, or will they get one of the 2nd tier guys?
True.
And just have him come and play, and try to develop him under.
I don't think and here's my opinion, Corey, and I do want to spend a second on this because Miami started out so hot this season, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Like Miami was 1, 2, 3, 4. They were like 10-3. I'm sorry, no, they were 8-3. They finished 9-8. At one point, they were the first team in the division halfway through the season. They were the first team in the conference through 12 games. I think they have to because they built this team to win now. You got Tyreek Hill, you got Jalen Waddle. You guys have already proven that you can go and kill it. You know how short the NFL is. I don't think you have time to put Tyreek Hill and all them through we're going to experiment with a free agent quarterback. We're going to go get Derek Carr or I think you need to be we're all in. We're going to go draft somebody. We're going to give Tua another year if he's healthy, checking with the doctors and all that kind of stuff, making sure that he's okay. But we have to look at we can't wait 2 years. We can't be in this situation next year limping into the playoffs because our quarterback could only play 9 of the 17 game schedule, and we're not going to have him for a playoff game. Go ahead.
You think they'll spend a 1st round pick on a QB?
That's the most important position on the field.
I'm just saying that's a quarterback controversy instantly, and that means your offseason is topsy-turvy already.
I don't think that. I think with the magnitude of, yes, I do think that would be that way if it was somebody who was just playing bad. But with the fact of Tua is injuries, and like every time he's out in the football field from now on, it's going to kind of be like people are going to be holding their breath when he scrambles or getting sacked. I think people do care more about, with things that are going on in the NFL now, his health. And I don't think it would be pushback or backlash at all from Miami for them just being like, we have to make sure that our players are being safe. And he's had 3 concussions.
You'd have to trade him then. You got to start trading.
Nobody, you can't trade him. It's a public relations disaster.
It's a medical issue. Yeah.
Yeah. And who's going to pick him up?
I don't know.
No one would trade for him. I think it's like a very big deal where with player safety, and we'll talk about this in a little bit, but with player safety, I don't think that you can knowingly, like, let's say he goes out next year early in the season and he gets another concussion,
which is possible and likely.
Likely, yeah.
Now,
definitely.
At what point does the media and do people start coming in and being like, yo, like, Miami, you need to step in and do what's right? Like, this could be like 10 years from now, 15 years from now, if he dies, or in 8 years from now, something like. And I'm not wishing. We won't wish anything bad on anybody. But I'm just saying, when you talk about risk, like, you have to take some sort of personal responsibility now as an organization, as a $1 billion organization, and you can't let that man go out and go get. I think you got one more. But if the next one happens, I don't think that you can, as Miami, you have to just say, we can't. We're going to work out a deal with the NFLPA, get him paid. It's not going to count against the salary cap, but we can't send you out on the field. You're going to hurt. You're going to kill yourself.
With that first round pick, maybe second or third.
No, because you have time. You have the best receiver in the league.
I understand.
Yeah, but so he doesn't want to go through a fucking rebuild with y'all.
Oh.
Anyway, speaking of player safety, it's a horrible segue, but man, last week and the week before last week, we saw something absolutely horrible on the football field, and we just want to say, I know Percy, you wanted to say something about it. We wanted to give a moment of silence. But Percy, go take it away. I know you have the better words than I do.
Oh no, Rod. I just wanted to say, just have a moment of silence for Hamlin and his family. We all saw what happened. We've never seen that happen at all. They say it happened in hockey years back and all, but I've never seen that happen. The whole world is watching. So let's just give 10 seconds, a moment of silence. All right, Rob, what we got next? The Vikings game?
Yes, we do. We have the Vikings, and
that's what I wanted to talk about.
This is a big one. This is actually, believe it or not, it's kind of strange how this has happened, because this is kind of one of the worst. If we look back like the last 10 years and you look at the quarterbacks that were playing in the playoff games, and you look at this year, it's like, this is a Sunday primetime game. This is usually when you're going to get your most viewers, is right here at this 4 o'clock segment. And then putting the Giants and the Vikings in there just shows like where they're at right now. Like, it shows like, oh shit, like it's a bad thing, right? So anyway, the New York Giants traveling to Minnesota. Minnesota only getting 3 points at home, finishing with a 13-4 record. Let's move on to Percy. Percy, what do you think?
This is a close one, man. I honestly, fellas, I don't know which way to go. Logically, I want to say Minnesota wins at home. I mean, they're the most, I think, underrated, one of the most underrated teams not talked about this year, and they only lost 3 games. I think they should be talked about more. Justin Jefferson, I mean, I can't say nothing more about him. Cook is playing great. So I'm going to go with the Vikings to win and the Vikings to cover. But I do think – I don't think no one on the Giants can cover Jefferson. So I think he's going to have a field day. But it's something about Barkley, man, it's something about Barkley. But I'm going with the Vikings.
Yeah, this one's very difficult for me because I like Minnesota. I like the direction they're headed. But in my opinion, this is the worst 13-4 team in the history of the National Football League. And you want to know why? They're the only 13-4 team to ever have a negative point differential, folks. And if you don't know what that means they have not scored more points than their opponents combined. Yeah, that's not working for me. So I'm going to go ahead.
How is that even possible when you have won 13 and lost 4?
Repeat that again.
No, he's right. It's
repeat it though. Repeat it.
Right.
They are the only team in National Football League history with 13 wins to have a negative point differential. They have scored fewer points than their opponents total this season. And they won 13 games. It is a miracle. We go back to the Minnesota miracle. That's not a miracle. This is a miracle.
Ryan, okay? What you didn't say is that not only are the only 13 win team, they're the only 12 win team, they're
Correct.
the only 11 win team, and they're the only 10 win team.
Correct.
That has ever done. It's almost impossible, statistically impossible, for you to have a net score rating of negative, but you have won 3 times more games than you have lost. Go ahead, Ryan.
Yeah, and it probably has to do with your losses, or you lost to the Cowboys by 40. I mean, you lost to some teams bad.
No, not just that. Let's just go through these real quick, Ryan, because you made a really good point, and I just want to count these out. They won week 1, 21-20. Week 2, 19-16. Week 4, 20-12. Week 5, 27-22. Week 6, 24-20. Like, it's just like 1 point, 5 points, 6 points. But when they have lost, like you said, good God, Eagles lost. What did they lose to the Eagles for? They lost, sorry about that, 24-7. Cowboys 40-3. Like, they were losing to the Colts by 35 at halftime. Like, they're not like, Corey.
I think you guys need to put a little respect on Kirk Cousins' name. And at the end of the game, he could very well look at the camera and say, "You like that?" Again, because I think they're going to beat the Giants by at least 10 points. And I don't think it's going to be as close as you guys think. I think they're going to light the Giants' ass up. And the Giants, their play calling, I don't think they give the ball to Saquon Barkley enough. I mean, he should have 24 rushes, 5 receptions. I mean, he should be a huge, more part of their team, man. I'm disappointed with, their usage of him as far as just, he's a monster, and you got to feed a guy like that. And, by the time the fourth quarter hits, man, they probably won't want to tackle that boy, so I just don't have enough faith in the coaching over in New York. And I just think the Minnesota Vikings, being an NFC North advocate and an NFC North spokesman, I will say that they have a little bit of a grit to their team, and they have won a lot of these games closely. But I think in this game, they're going to handily beat the Giants until they're disposed of next week.
So 2 things I have for you, Corey. Number 1 is Saquon Barkley, and number 2, Daniel Jones are both in a contract year.
So would you renew Daniel? Is this his 5th-year option? Or
no? I think it might be. This might be his 5th-year option.
Man, they should be looking the quarterback. They should be looking for a quarterback. Actually,
well, they thought they would be because they were only selected to win 5 games this year.
Right.
But they overachieved.
And here we are.
But the better question is that how much are you going to give Saquon Barkley? How
much is he going to ask for?
I don't think he's going to get it.
Yeah.
He's not
He's
going to
going
get
to be the highest
a
paid,
Zeke
probably.
contract.
I mean, look at running backs.
He's not going to get a Zeke contract.
No, look at what. Yeah,
He's not going to get a 5-year, $40 million contract or $50 million contract. He's not going to get that on the open market. They don't give running backs that contract.
Zeke shouldn't have gotten it.
No, and he was the leading rusher in the freaking league for those 4 years.
Yeah, it's just
Saquon Barkley's an injury. I don't see it. Like, he's going to ask for it, but they're not. He's going to get like a $3-4 million. This is going to be sad. This is going to be sad. Like, this is going to be sad. Like, this is going to be the state of affairs. Corey, you can take over. But yeah, I mean,
no, I agree with you 100%. And they have some decisions to make. And this is what I mean by this year. It seems like, depending on what happens, a lot of these teams could look different next year, from Baltimore, from the Giants, even the 49ers. Next year is a could look so much different, depending on who they'll keep and who they choose to give money to.
Yeah, my fear, this is a big double-edged sword for the Giants. I'm happy that they overachieved, but they absolutely picked the worst year that they could overachieve. Now, if they have some kind of, and you know what's crazy, Percy? I just said this to my dad the other day, and he was like, some reason why that Giants team, man, it's like that Eli Manning thing. Like, it's just somehow every time, like, they're the last team in. And, like, for some reason, they go, like, on the road Philadelphia, on the road Green Bay, on the road, like, here. And then they're the Super Bowl. Like, and I'm like, there's no way that's happening.
Hey,
but,
they won a Super Bowl 9-7.
Yeah, no, I know. The two. So,
yeah.
so my I don't think they have Eli, number one. But number two is that they picked the worst year to overachieve, because they're not going to get a good draft pick. I mean, it's going to be a first-round pick, but it's going to be like, you're in a position now where you have a team that's already went to the playoffs, so they're expecting to win or to compete.
Or to take the next step.
You're in a rebuild. You're in a you want to rebuild, right? So anyway, let's move on. But this is some really good conversation. Let's go to the Sunday night game, and that is Baltimore versus Cincinnati. Cincinnati is favored by 9.5, and I think that is because the Lamar Jackson question is up in the air. So let's chat about it. But I want to go to Ryan here first. We'll come back to you, Percy, because you're the Lamar Jackson defender. 9.5, Cincinnati at home. Who do you got? Both the spread and the for the win, Ryan.
I'm definitely going to go with the Cincinnati Bengals here. I know last night a few reports dropped, not looking like Lamar's going to play. Not a good chance he's playing. And
do you think he's doing that on purpose? No, we'll come back to that. Go ahead, Ryan.
I read something last night similar as well. But that's another question. But I don't know, man. I don't like this. It's great that you've got an offense built around one player, but if he's not playing, then what? I don't think Mark Andrews can carry this team to a playoff victory. I don't. I don't think the Ravens win this game. I think, and then just to look at the way Joe Burrow and those Cincinnati Bengals, in that game that we all will never forget, in that Buffalo, first quarter, they looked pretty scary against Buffalo. I mean, they were moving the ball at will in the possessions that they had. So give me Cincinnati on both. And, I don't disrespect Joey Burr, at all. I've done that before, and I got taught a lesson last year. So give me the Joey Burrows on both.
It's nothing to talk about here, guys. Whether Lamar plays or not, the Bengals win this game. They're covering both.
Corey,
I agree. I think the Bengals will win. Joe Burrow is my favorite young quarterback out of all of them. I like him the best. I like his pocket presence. I like he has a very high IQ. He manipulates that pocket like Drew Brees, I tell you. And however, for some reason, I don't think they'll win by that much. I think it'll be kind of closer than what we think, just because Lamar Jackson's not playing, but he hasn't been playing for a while now. I think he is doing this as far as leverage goes. He'd be an idiot to go out there and play it without that contract. So I think the Bengals will win, but I think they'll probably win by around a touchdown. And but Joe Burrow, I like Joe Burrow. He's my favorite guy.
Well, I got the Bengals for both. And if we just want to stay on that Lamar Jackson thing, I think you're right, Corey. I think he would be an idiot to go out there and potentially get hurt. But I also think that Baltimore is not going to be pressured into a decision to guarantee that damn $250 million contract right now, especially after what just happened with Kyle out in Arizona. Kyler Murray, and you look up and you see that the next year after the contract is signed, because he was pressured into Arizona was pressured into making it a thing. He's 4 years, $200 million left, and now they just fired the GM and the coach. And Hopkins wants out. If I was, this is a tough situation for Baltimore, but I wouldn't do it. And I would stick to your guns and say, we'll give you that 210, that 200, but we're not doing the 250 or the 260. You're not getting it. We're not giving you we're not giving you $60 million a year. So anyway, let's move on. But that's a how about this? Let's stick here. Ryan, 5 years, 250 or 260. That's what he's asking for now.
Listen,
you're Baltimore. Do you do that? Do you do that?
Listen, I love Lamar Jackson as a player. I think he's a phenomenal athlete. I think he's a phenomenal playmaker. I think he's he's one of my favorite guys to watch. But the problem is the injuries, the nagging injuries. This one's been more serious than they initially led on to be. I mean, remember this is 6 weeks ago, and they were saying, "Hey, this is only going to be week to week. He can only miss 1 to 2 weeks." Well, here we are. As Corey mentioned earlier, it's kind of funny how those reports have morphed into he's missed 6 weeks. But if I am Baltimore, I'm going to sit down with Lamar Jackson and tell him how great he is. He knows how great he is. But these are going to be your options here. Do you want the 250 and not make the playoffs and not add any weapons for you and not add any, not have any of these, be able to sign pieces to protect you a little bit better up front, get you some weapons on the outside? Or do you want to take a $200 million contract and us go get you some weapons and protection and potentially go for another playoff run? It's up to you, Lamar. And I think if they did that, I think he would still take the $200 million. But if I was the GM, that's what I would lay out for him. If we give you the 250, we aren't going to be able to get those tools that you want. So we love you, but you can't have it both ways here. And this is a tough spot. So yeah, that's kind of how I would go about it. Now, if he's going to take
the question is, well, they offered him 220. So the question is, Ryan, would you give it to him? He wants 260.
I wouldn't give him 260. No.
Corey?
Now, what if I was wondering if they were to do something like when Patrick Mahomes did his deal and stretch it out
over 10 years?
Or would that be more friendly? And another issue, I don't want to, no disrespect, but could the problem be that his mother is his agent?
Self-representation is a tricky thing. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so he can't, you don't want to pay that agent that percentage. This is where you lose it at. So
it's 4% on $200 million, bro.
Yeah.
Like I get it. Like it sucks, but I mean, like, bro, this is $200 million contract.
If you want to have your mother, if you want to have your mother and your cousins and your third nephew, your agent, this is what you're going to get. The agents are there for a reason. They've been in this game for a long time. So it's a lot of successful agents that know how to get it done and close the deal. So I think this is his own doing. Just like Roquan Smith, even though he just got what he wanted, but he had to get moved for it. Maybe it takes Lamar Jackson to get moved before he gets what he wants.
See, here's where the thing comes in for me, where it's like, there's a level of understanding, like Roquan Smith. There's a lot of things in these contracts for different positions that, the money's not as guaranteed. Your life expectancy is only going to be for this contract. It's been proven over and over again that if you're a top 10, top 15 quarterback, you're going to get 2 contracts. So it's kind of like, and it's going to be over 200 million guaranteed no matter what. Him sticking to his guns and saying that he needs 260 million guaranteed. I mean, really? I mean, yes, I understand. It's money. It's money. You want to get paid more than Deshaun Watson. Yes, it's a pride thing. It's an ego thing. But at the same time, I mean, this is the 3rd season that you've missed at least 6 games, and this is another season where you're about to miss another playoff game. That's,
And another thing is what has, how far have we advanced in the playoffs for you to get this kind of contract?
Well, he was the MVP. He's won.
I get he's an MVP, but he has as many playoff wins as he's
1-3
as Dak Prescott. But I mean, they gave him $40 million, which I disagree with.
Yeah, but Dak Prescott's contract's only $150 million.
I agree. And that's just where I'm putting him, though.
Yeah,
that's the comparison.
You're talking about an additional $20 million a year.
It's a lot.
You're talking about
it's a lot.
That's like cornerback, linebacker, defensive end all together.
That's half the defensive position groups. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot. That hurts.
Mm-hmm.
Now, to Corey's question is, could you extend it longer? No, I don't know. They could, but why in the hell? I mean, if you have a quarterback that has missed 6 games out of let's say he's played 5 and he's at 3 seasons, about to miss the 2nd playoff game, would you really? I mean, do you feel comfortable being locked into a $500 million guarantee? Do you feel really good at year 3, year 4, year 6? I mean, Patrick Mahomes, what has he missed? 2 games? Or 1 game? He's like Iron Man, right?
He's also been to the AFC title game every year he's been in the league.
The question is, though, is he missing these games because, is his knee hurt or is it hurt? Is it hurt
I don't know.
Because the contract, because he's not happy with his contract and he's saying, I ain't going out there? Or is it really hurts? Or how hurt is his knee?
See, but that's the thing. That's the thing. I agree with you. Is kind of like, but when you're doing that, see, I agree with him wanting to hold. I mean, I wouldn't say holding out, but like
knowing your value.
I don't know. This is a play. It's different when it's a playoff game, bro.
Yeah.
It's a playoff game, bro. I mean, like, this is a playoff. I mean, you have another 22 people on that team starting with you, another 54 people. I mean, there's a lot of people that are dependent on. There's a lot of contracts for the cornerbacks, the receivers, the defense. Like when you don't have your
incentives,
you're. They say that right here on FanDuel that if he was definitely playing, it would only be a 2.5 point spread. It's a 9. What is it? 9?
It's 9, or it was 9 last night.
They're saying it's a touchdown difference. Like that's you're.
So do you think the players on Baltimore are sort of looking at Lamar Jackson, hoping he would play, and if he doesn't, sort of, they may feel like he let them down, or will they be looking at management saying, "Hey, this is our leader. You should have paid the guy like they're paying every other quarterback in this league"?
Oh man, it's a good.
I'll tell you one thing. In these contracts, I don't know if people know this, but as a receiver, you have performance-based incentives to get your bonuses and all. Like a lot of stuff is performance-based. So if you're out there and you've got, I've got 43 catches and I need 50 catches for a $750,000 bonus that I'm banking on getting, and you're going to throw Tyler Huntley out there, yeah, I'm going to probably be pissed off.
Especially if you could have played, and it's not like it's week 14 and
no,
it's a playoff.
It's over after this. You're in the off season. No,
yeah.
I don't know. It's a hard situation, man. It's hard.
That's a good point, Corey.
Yeah.
Moving on. So the final game, and Percy has wanted to go last on this, and this is definitely the game of the week. Word on the street is ESPN got to choose this one because they were gun ho. They were owed a favor from all the Monday night trash games that they were gotten, so they got to pick the first game for the playoff slate. I don't remember seeing many playoff games on a Monday night, but this is a big one, guys. Like, this is the Dallas Cowboys, America's team, going to play the 8-9 Tampa Bay Buccaneers with Tom Brady. 60 degrees and sunny. Dallas is favored by 2.5. First game ever that Tom Brady has been home in a playoff game and not favored to win the game. Percy. Oh, no, sorry, Percy gets to go last. Ryan, you're a big Dallas Cowboy fan, so we'll let you go after Corey. Corey, you're up.
Man, I look at the Dallas Cowboys, and they have so much on that team. They have so many weapons. I don't think Dak's half bad. Slightly overrated. I agree, definitely. But man, that defense getting after Tom Brady. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers have not looked good the whole year. Especially the big disappointment for me is their defense and those linebackers. They don't fill the gaps. When they hit the gaps, they hit it cowardly. Where they don't take on that pulling guard or that pulling tackle or just anybody. They just seem like they're just a shell of themselves.
Oh, old boy's getting fired, but keep going, Corey.
But I like to read the Bible before I go to bed every night, and I look in Genesis 12, chapter 12, verse 10. It said, "Never bet against Tom Brady," and I'm gonna just have to pick Tom Brady in Tampa Bay just because of that. It's sacrilegious, and I don't think I had the guts to bet against Tom Brady in this first round. And not this, it'll be different if he was playing someone, if Dallas weren't so up and down. But I'm going to pick Tampa Bay in this game. And I was leaning towards Dallas because I think Dallas has a much better running attack. And Tampa Bay with Leonard Fournette, he has a Liz Frank injury, and he's been nursing that all year. Their running game is just straight doo-doo.
Yes.
But I just can't pick against Tom Brady, and that's it.
Thou shalt not disrespect this, Mr. Thomas and Jay. Ryan.
I'm definitely going to. This one's a tough one, and first of all, let's talk about something that's not being talked about. Is that this game's on a Monday night is bull jive, as my buddy Shannon Sharp says.
Skeet.
So you're telling me that this game's going to be played on Monday night, and whoever wins this game is going to get a short week, and everybody else gets a normal week? I don't see how that's fair. I don't want to complain or anything, but this is not happened, and I don't think it should ever happen again, because
it doesn't matter. It's already, the ratings for this game are predicted to be the largest NFL watched playoff game besides the Super Bowl ever. To keep going.
Yeah, and to point out, like, the Tom Brady aspect, like Corey just said, quoting the Bible. I also have a sign on my wall over here that my wife hung up that says, "All good things must come to an end." Oh. And I'm a biggest Tom Brady fan out there, but I Corey had great points. Like, this running game is the worst running game of Tom Brady's career. There's no doubt about that. And I just think this front seven for the Cowboys that's where they thrive. With the injuries in the secondary that the Cowboys have, could be a little problematic, and how young they are on the back end a little bit. But I think the Cowboys get it done, and I think they beat Tom Brady for the first time ever. I really do. As you mentioned, the linebacking core for Tampa Bay, who I thought was the best linebacking core in the league, and Levante David and White, I thought they were the best linebacking core. But this season, they have not played the way that they played the last few years, and I think that's a big problem. Also, I think the Cowboys just have too many weapons on the ground. I think with Pollard and Zeke, I think you have to lean on those guys. But if they come out and Kellen Moore, like he always does, probably going to have Dak slinging the ball around, I think it could be trouble. I really do. But give me the Cowboys on both.
So, oh man, I don't have that. I don't have that Bible that brother Corey has. I don't have that Bible over here at the Jones residence. But
So did you bet against them?
I did not place the bet yet. But after, but I will. But I will, and I will send the bet.
Send the receipt.
I always send the receipts.
Okay.
I will say this: Tom Brady and Evans, that connection can change the game real quick. I do believe that, but I'm gonna go with that young man on the Cowboys on defense that's been giving everybody hell all year. I'm gonna go with that. I love the running game. You guys know that. CeeDee Lamb is. I think right now CeeDee Lamb has it. He wants to go get it. This trust me, this hurts saying this. This really hurts saying who I'm about to say. But I really think the Cowboys, it's a must-win game. Obviously, it's the playoffs, but it's a must-win game down there in Dallas where they got to win, and they got to win now. There's no more next year. There's no more, well, maybe this, maybe that. Dak has to get his stuff together. Dak has to get it done. The Cowboys have to win this game. I got the Cowboys.
Can I say one thing?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I was leaning towards the Cowboys as well, and I think they have the much better team. But, this is not going to be played in Jerry World. So all them calls from the officials and all besides Green Bay playing at, Green Bay playing at Dallas, you won't get a call there, so.
Calls from officials. Who gets calls more? The Cowboys at home or Tom Brady?
I'm just saying, man, if you're playing in Jerry's world, man,
it don't matter. If Tom Brady was in Jerry's world right now, Tom Brady's getting the calls, bro.
People are getting arrested this weekend for touching him. I'm telling you.
Dallas has a much better team, and there's no way they should lose this game.
McCarthy's getting fired if they lose this game.
Yeah. I think Sean Payton, he wants Sean Payton there anyway.
He lives in Argyle, about 30 minutes away, so Sean would be staying home. Yeah.
So Cowboys have the better team, no questions asked. But I have the same Bible as Corey does, and I just can't bring myself to do something that crazy. But I want to talk about a couple things. Number one, I want to say is it's going to be probably the highest ratings of any NFL playoff game ever. Like I said earlier, it's going to be on Monday. Yeah. It's going to be on Monday Night Football, individual Monday Night Football. People are going to get to think about the game all day at work, and then they're going to have parties and all sorts of stuff as that individual game. Mm-hmm. I seriously do think I'm going to take Tom Brady with the spread. I'm going to take the spread, Buccaneers both. But for some reason, I just see like the NFL here getting the best, like a thing that they could possibly get. And I can see it. I can see the 2 minutes and 37 seconds left. Dallas is up 1. They kick a field goal. They go up 4. And they have to kick the ball off. It goes into the back of the end zone. They go to commercial break, and everybody's like, oh, my gosh. Tom Brady is going to get the ball at the 25 or wherever they put it now. And he's going to have to march the ball all the way down the field. And he's going to march the ball all the way down the field, like he always does. And the question is going to be is when he gets to the 20 or the 10 or the 30, are they going to put it in? And I don't know. But I can see this. Like I can see this. This isn't going to be a blowout. It's going to be tight on both sides. Both teams are going to be tight. It's going to be it's going to start out slow. This isn't going to be no damn 45-38 game. This is going to be like an old school NFC North 21-17 type game. This is going to be like these two teams are about to go at it. Like, think about all the players on Tampa Bay who have been getting beat up all year long, hearing how bad they are and all these things, and they don't want to be the players that are like sending Tom Brady off in a playoff loss. They're gonna, and the Cowboys are gonna try to rip his heart out. This is a huge legacy game for Dak Prescott. Oh my gosh, Dak Prescott. Like, if he loses his game,
he's just Tony Romo.
I don't think he's Tony Romo. I don't think he's Tony Romo.
If he loses this game, he's just another Tony Romo in
Dallas. I don't think he's that. I think you're giving him too much respect. This is a huge legacy game for Dak Prescott.
Absolutely.
And the other thing, though, the last thing that I want to say is that this dude is unfreaking believable, bro. Like, 45 years old. It's not like that he was like getting with some scallywag or something. He was married to this woman for 13 years. They got 2 kids together. He was dating this woman for damn near 20 years. She moved with him from Boston all the way down to Florida. They got kids and a model, like a beautiful life, beautiful family. Divorced.
Mm-hmm.
Divorced. Like, doesn't crack at all. Like, doesn't, like, I'm sure he's doing it in his private stuff, but like, this dude is a freaking professional, bro. Like, this dude is unbelievable to still like prepare the same way, to still go out there the same way. Like, nothing is wrong, and I can just hear it. I can hear him like on his earphones, probably listening to everybody talking about it. He probably has some tape that somebody made for him of all year. Like, if Giselle bothered him, is this that would make his freaking year to go out into the playoffs in the first round after squeaking in and get to beat the Dallas Cowboys in the first round of the playoffs and then come to Philly. Oh my God, Jesus Christ. I do not want to see this guy. I do not want to see this guy. If you want to talk about, so basically it's going to come down to this. If San Francisco wins, which they should, and Minnesota should win, we're going to know on Monday night whoever wins that game is coming to Philly.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with Ryan. I can't believe the NFL. I mean, I know it's for ratings and all that stuff, but it's very unfair to have those guys play on Monday and, have a short week and then go, in a playoff game.
And then we got to travel. Then that team has to travel.
Yeah. I don't know what the NFL, and also in the AFC Championship game, they're saying when we get to that point, it may be at a different neutral site. I seen something like
it is going to be at a neutral.
I mean, how is that fair? I don't care if you're playing in Buffalo or Kansas City and there's 6 foot of snow.
Siberia.
That I don't give a you don't change the location just because we want fireworks out of that game. What's the purpose for them changing that location? I don't know why the NFL is doing all this crap for ratings.
It wasn't because of ratings. They had to change the location because they wanted to make it fair, because they weren't going to continue the Cincinnati and Buffalo game, and that was going to determine who was going to be the first seed.
That's true.
Oh man, go ahead with all that, man.
No, it's true, bro. It's true. Think about it. Cincinnati
it's nonsense. I know it's total nonsense.
It's not nonsense. It's a freak occurrence. It's never happened before. Cincinnati's up 7-3. I'm Kansas City at home. If Cincinnati wins this game, I got home field throughout the playoffs. Right? If Buffalo wins the game, they got home field without the playoffs. So when you don't finish that game, you're really going to tell Kansas City, well, we're just going to give it to Buffalo? But then you would tell Buffalo that because your man almost died out here on the field that were not going to give you home field advantage, you had to do something.
Man, you should have won more games during the year. It's the NFL, not for long.
So who would you have told? That's what I want to know. Who would you have told?
Whoever, use that game as a no contest.
Same record.
Well, if teams have the same record, this is a way you determine by points and everything who has the home field advantage, isn't it?
Well, no, actually, Kansas City was up one game because the Buffalo had beaten them. So they would have had a tie if Buffalo would have won, and Buffalo would have got to go be the number 1 seed. So what do you do?
The games are a week away.
Yeah, and the games are a week away. I'm not saying they did it right. I'm just saying that they weren't going to finish the game.
No.
Right? I'd be pissed if I was Kansas City. I'd be pissed if I was Buffalo. I'd be super pissed if I was Cincinnati.
Yeah, it's a lose-lose for the league office.
But nobody's going to come out. Nobody's going to come out. Where are they doing the game? Where's the site? I forget. Right?
In Atlanta.
They
said it's going to be in Atlanta.
Mm-hmm. Mercedes.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. Okay. Anyway. Damn, Percy, you get all the events. Ryan, did you see what they're opening in my city in Frisco?
Yeah, I saw that.
Tell Corey what they're, because I always hype up Corey and tell Corey, like, you have no idea how big my city's getting.
So Frisco is like a suburb, but it's like an own city now, about 15 miles north of downtown Dallas, and they're building it's where Rob lives, and they're building a Universal Studios theme park there.
Oh wow!
They're building like a damn Disney World.
But hold on, are you going to be there long?
I don't know. I know we're gonna keep that house with it double in appreciation. Anyway, no, but so we will definitely chat soon, guys. This has been a lot of fun. I had a great time catching up on all the playoff games. Percy, do you have any final words that you want to say to everybody?
It's going to be another great weekend of football. I'm going to be locked in. That upset is happening. Seattle Seahawks are going to upset the 49ers. You've heard it first on the Beyond Elevated show.
Yo, you also picked another one too, though. You picked another upset.
I picked the Jags, but I don't think
that's what I'm saying. They're underdogs.
I think they both win. I'm stamping both of them.
And you picked Tampa Bay too, didn't you?
No.
Okay, wait. I want to make sure I get receipts. So you picked the Dallas, and Ryan picked Dallas. Okay, just making sure.
Mm-hmm. It hurts to say it, but yes.
So can we do a little bet where if you guys do lose, that you will say that you're not going to amend your Bibles, but you will take a piece of paper and put it at least on your desk or something where it should be by the Bible. It doesn't have to be on the Bible. That's sacrilegious, but close. And just say, "Thou shalt not betteth against Thomas J. Brady." Yeah. Ryan.
Yeah, if they win, I'll have to go out and buy me that new King Brady version of the Bible that you guys read. But yeah, my last words are going to be, it was kind of an unprecedented week last week. Seeing that, I've been on the sideline, Division I level at any level. I've never seen anything like that in my life. It's a trainer's worst nightmare, and I just want to recognize those people that acted without any hesitation, with courage. His name is Denny Kellington. That man saved DeMar Hamlin's life, and we need more stories like that. I know it was a tragedy, and it could have been very tragic, but it just shows you how people really are, and not people aren't half bad, right? So I just that was just nothing but God on that field, and working through him. And I have no words to really explain to it, but shout out to Denny Kellington. What a hero. Wow.
Amen.
Corey?
I'm excited. I want to see what happens. I want to get past this minuscule round, the wild card round, so we can really get to the beef of the matter in the playoffs. And also, I want to thank you guys for letting me to come and let me fellowship some NFL talk with you. So, I appreciate it. It's been fun. Let me know whenever you ever need somebody else to talk. If you guys need me on again, or I'll definitely tuned in on the comments. You'll see my comments moving forward. So thank you, guys.
We definitely need to have Corey back on. We like this commentary. But guys, hey, I really appreciate you. Hey, guys out there in the world today, I won't say the media, but you read a lot of news publications and you see a lot of things on Facebook and Twitter, and it's a lot of negative. Like Ryan was saying, it's a lot of negative. It's a lot of things where it's trying to divide us or say that this group is worse than this group, or this is this. Right. This is. When you actually talk to people and when you actually go over and shake your neighbor's hand, you find out that we actually as humans have a lot more in common than we do differences. Let's please try to find those commons this week. Everybody be safe. God bless you all. And you're listening to the Beyond Elevated Show with Percy Jones, Ryan Bliss, and Corey Wilson. Thank you guys and have a good one.